Hi, I'm Kylie. My stories mix romance with danger. A tense dinner, a stranger who changes everything. Comment Spotify if you want the audiobook. Let's begin. The heavy tray dug into my palm as I pushed through the glittering throng, a current of silk and champagne flowing around me. The conservatory ballroom was a jewel box of light and sound, every surface polished to a blinding sheen. The air tasted like gardenias and expensive whiskey, undercut by that subtle, metallic scent of absolute privilege. "More champagne, ma'am?" I offered, my voice a script I'd perfected. The woman in emerald taffeta plucked a flute without breaking her conversation, her eyes sliding over me as if I were air. 3 years at the Carlton, serving the untouchable elite of Fairhaven, had taught me this. Invisibility was the most essential skill. My polyester dress itched in the humidity, a stark, cheap black island in a sea of designer color. My feet, encased in unforgiving heels, had been screaming for an hour. We had 5 more to go for this evening of hope, benefiting the city's youth center. I'd taken the double shift because my car insurance was due, and the tips here could mean the difference between fixing the leak in my apartment ceiling or letting it fester another month. My son, Ben, was with my aunt again. At 4, he was already an expert at waving goodbye. The thought was a physical squeeze in my chest. "Eyes forward, Lena." A man in a pinstripe suit barked as he sidestepped me, his shoulder clipping my tray. Not his fault. The help was meant to be intangible. "Pardon me, sir," I murmured, my fingers instinctively steadying the glasses. And that's when I saw him, the little boy, perched alone at a round table near the potted ferns, his legs too short to reach the floor. While a pack of children giggled and chased by the orchestra, he sat perfectly still, orchestrating a silent ballet with his silverware. Knife, fork, spoon. Rearrange. Knife, fork, spoon. His entire world was contained in that 12-inch place setting. His face, under a thatch of sandy hair, was a portrait of deep concentration. His suit was miniature perfection, navy with a subtle pinstripe, a silver tie knotted just so. But it was the void around him, the empty space at a table for 8, that held me. In a room vibrating with noise, he was a quiet pocket of intensity. I made my rounds, collecting empties, delivering full ones. My gaze kept drifting back. A couple needed extra chairs. They took 2 from his table without a word or a look. He didn't react. "Lena, the champagne tower needs constant replenishment. Don't linger." My supervisor, Gerald, was a nervous man who wielded his clipboard like a weapon. I nodded and pivoted toward the bar, but a sudden stillness near the grand entrance made me pause. It was the quiet that falls when a shark glides into a reef. He entered not with fanfare, but with absorption. The space seemed to bend toward him. He was tall, built with a solid, imposing grace, his hair dark and swept back, silver highlighting his temples like streaks of iron. His face was all clean, severe lines, a face you'd find on old currency. But his eyes, a pale, piercing blue, scanned the room with a chilling, analytical calm. 2 men moved with him, their bulk failing to hide the deliberate purpose in their posture. I knew him. Everyone in Fairhaven knew of Marcus Thorne. His name was a spoken rumor, his real estate developments lauded, his charitable foundation celebrated, while the city's darker undercurrents were quietly attributed to his influence. The man who had built an empire from the waterfront up. The crowd made room without being asked. Conversations hushed, then resumed at a more careful pitch. He moved with direct purpose, and I realized with a start his trajectory led to the corner, to the boy. When he reached the table, the impossible happened. The ice in his expression thawed, just at the edges. He rested a large hand on the boy's shoulder, leaned down, and spoke quietly. The boy nodded once, still focused on his fork. Thorne straightened, and a sleek woman in midnight blue approached, her smile dazzling. He took her offered hand, his face reverting to its impassive mask. They spoke briefly. She laughed, glanced at the boy, and said something that made Thorne go utterly still. The temperature around him seemed to drop. Her smile vanished. She murmured something conciliatory and melted back into the crowd. I should have turned away. I had a job to keep, but I was rooted. For the next hour, I watched the silent ritual. Thorne would work the room, a statue accepting homage, then circle back every 10 minutes like a planet returning to its sun. The boy remained, ordering and reordering his small universe. No one approached him. I was clearing a nearby table of dessert plates when the whisper slithered to my ear. That's Thorne's boy, the quiet one. Word is the mother couldn't handle it. Who would want that burden with that family? A hot blade of anger twisted in my gut. I thought of Ben, of his laugh, of how I'd burn the world for him. Without conscious thought, I turned. He's a child, not gossip, I said, my voice low but sharp. The two women stared, affronted that the wallpaper had spoken. I walked away, my heart hammering against my ribs. Asterisk idiot. You cannot afford to be fired. Asterisk. The orchestra swelled into a gentle, classic waltz. On the dance floor, parents began to sway with their children, creating small, spinning worlds of their own. A little girl in a puff of tulle dragged her beaming father into a whirl. The ache for Ben was sudden and acute. His father was a ghost, a faded memory of bad choices. My eyes were pulled back to the corner. The boy was watching the dancers now, his silverware forgotten. There was a naked curiosity in his gaze, a lonely wonder that broke something loose inside me. Before fear could catch up, I set my tray on a service stand and walked over. I knelt, bringing myself to his level. Hello, I said softly. My name is Lena. Would you like to try dancing? He didn't look at my face, his focus somewhere near my collarbone. I'm Theo, he stated, his voice clear and precise. I am not familiar with the steps. That's perfectly all right. I can show you. It's just moving to music. I held out my hand, palm up, an invitation without pressure. It's okay to say no. He considered my hand for a long moment, then placed a small, cool one in mine. A trial period is acceptable, he said. I helped him down. The weight of attention was immediate. I led him to a less crowded edge of the floor. Sometimes it helps to stand on my feet, I suggested. It stabilizes the process. He considered this, then stepped onto the toes of my shoes with careful deliberation. I took his hands. Now, we just move with the count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I began to sway. He followed, his body tense at first, then gradually sinking with a simple rhythm. You're a quick learner, I said. He looked up, his gaze skimming past my eyes, and a faint, fleeting smile touched his mouth. I was so absorbed in guiding him that I didn't notice the silence spreading like a stain until it was nearly complete. The music played on, but the chatter had died. I looked up. The entire ballroom seemed to be holding its breath, all eyes on the waitress and the little boy in the perfect suit. And across the sea of frozen faces, Marcus Thorne watched us. His expression was inscrutable, his blue eyes fixed on me with an intensity that felt like a physical touch. One of his men leaned in. Thorne stopped him with the barest tilt of his head. Cold realization drenched me. This wasn't just a kind gesture. I had just trespassed into a carefully guarded domain. I was holding the hand of Fairhaven's most guarded secret. Theo and I kept moving. 1, 2, 3. I whispered, a lifeline. He whispered it back, perfectly timed. Then Thorne was moving toward us, the crowd dissolving from his path. He stopped at the perimeter of our small dance. Miss, he said. His voice was deeper than I expected, smoothed by an accent I couldn't place. Sir, might I have this dance? The old-fashioned words were a formality, but the command beneath them was absolute. Before I could form a reply, Theo spoke. We are in the middle of a sequence, Papa. 1, 2, 3. Something shifted in Thorne's eyes, a softening so minute I might have imagined it. Of course. Complete the sequence. He stepped back but remained a sentinel. When the song faded, Theo stepped off my shoes. Thank you for the instructional period, he said with grave politeness. It was my pleasure, Theo. He walked to his father. who placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. Thorne's gaze never left me. "Mississippi, Lena," I offered. "Lena." He said my name as if testing its weight. "You will join us." It was not an invitation. A presence materialized at my elbow. I followed, my uniform suddenly feeling like a prisoner's jumpsuit. At the table, Thorne held a chair for me. Theo immediately returned to his silverware, but now he was humming the waltz tune under his breath. "You have a gentle way with instruction," Thorne said. "Thank you. My grandmother taught me to dance." "And what taught you to see my son in a room full of people who have trained themselves to look elsewhere?" The question was a direct strike. I glanced at Theo, who was tilting his head slightly toward our conversation. "I have a son," I said simply. "He's 4. No child should be a ghost." A dangerous light flickered in his blue eyes. And yet, to many here, he is merely an irregularity, an accessory that doesn't function as intended. The bitterness was stark and surprisingly personal. Theo likes systems, I observed, shifting focus. The order calms him. My Ben lines up his toy cars by size and color. He has a very specific taxonomy. Theo looked up, his attention caught. "Taxonomy is the science of classification," he stated. "Cars would be by wheel count, then scale, then color spectrum." "That's very organized," I said, impressed. "I am reading the Compendium of Scientific Principles," he informed me. "I am on C for crystalline structures." "Papa," Theo said, his gaze aimed at the tablecloth. "Could Lena view the library? The section on mineralogy is relevant." I held my breath. "Perhaps another time, Theo. Lena has responsibilities." Relief was followed by a pang at the slight droop of Theo's shoulders. An impulse overrode my caution. "I would like that very much. Another time, if it's suitable." Thorne studied me. "We shall see." One of his men approached, delivering a quiet, urgent message. Thorne's jaw tightened. "We must depart. Theo, it's time." "The scheduled departure is 10 p.m., Theo said, his voice tightening. "It is 9:18. An alteration is necessary. Stefan will escort you home. I will follow." The schedule is the schedule. Theo's breath hitched, his hands clenching. His body began a slight, distressed rock. I recognized the precipice. Acting on instinct, I pulled a small, polished river stone from my apron pocket, a touchstone I carried for my own anxiety. "Theo," I said gently, placing it on the table near his hand. "This is a grounding stone. It's always cool and smooth. It helps when plans change unexpectedly." His frantic eyes locked onto the stone. He picked it up, rolling it between his palms. His breathing began to slow, the rocking subsiding to a gentle sway. Thorne watched this entire exchange, his face a mask of intense calculation. "You may keep it," I said. "Thank you," Theo replied, his voice regaining its measured tone. He looked at his father, stone clutched tight. "I am prepared for the altered schedule." Thorne's hand settled on his son's shoulder, but his eyes were on me. "You have my gratitude." It sounded like a vow. They turned to leave. As they reached the edge of the ballroom, Theo looked back, his eyes searching until they found me. He gave a small, solemn wave. I waved back. Beside him, Marcus Thorne followed his son's gaze directly to mine. He gave a single, slight nod. Acknowledgement? Warning? Promise? Then they were gone. The next morning, dragging myself into my apron at the Griddle house, I tried to forget the intensity of those blue eyes. The breakfast rush was a merciful blur. I was refilling a coffee pot when Shelley, the hostess, nudged me. "Lena, guy asking for you. Looks then tense." My stomach dropped. By the door stood a man with a quiet, alert posture. "Stefan." He approached. "Miss Lena Vance. A message from Mr. Thorne." He handed me a thick, ivory envelope. My name was written in crisp script. "A car will be at your residence at 4 p.m. He wishes to speak with you. I get off at 3, but I have to pick up my son from preschool. Arrangements have been confirmed with a caregiver. Your son will be cared for until 7. He'd contacted my aunt. This was happening. Is this optional? I asked, already knowing the answer. The car will be at 4 o'clock. He left. In the break room, I opened the envelope. The note was brief. Asterisk, your intervention with Theo was noted and appreciated. He spoke of you this morning. I would express my thanks in person. You have my word of safe passage. M.T. Asterisk, beneath it was a cashier's check for $5,000. I stared at the number. It was a lifeline. It was also a hook. At 4, a black sedan idled outside my apartment. The drive led to a modern, glass and steel home cantilevered over a forest ravine. It was breathtaking and fortress-like. Stefan led me inside to a study walled with books. Thorne stood by a window, backlit by the late afternoon sun. He'd traded his tuxedo for dark trousers and a charcoal sweater. You returned the check, he said, turning. It was excessive. Its value is relative. He gestured for me to sit. Theo asked if you would visit again. He does not often request company. He's a remarkable boy. He is, Thorne agreed, his voice softening. Which is why I am offering you employment. As a companion for Theo. 3 afternoons weekly. Your son is welcome. The compensation is $5,000 per week. The world seemed to tilt. A week. Is the amount insufficient? It's immense. Why? You could hire a dozen specialists. He has specialists. He lacks a person who approached him without a clinical framework. Someone unafraid. He paused. Last night he danced. He attempted connection. That has value to me. I thought of the debt, of Ben's future, of the leaky ceiling. I thought of the danger in this man's calm eyes. I need to consider it. You have 72 hours. He stood. Would you like to see him? He is in his studio. Theo's room was a symphony of ordered curiosity. Geology samples labeled in neat trays, astronomy charts on the walls, a train set with mathematically precise tracks. Hello, Lena, he said, not looking up from a detailed diagram he was studying. You are within our domicile. I am. It's a wonderful room, Theo. I designed the layout for optimal workflow. Would you like to observe my new mineral acquisition? It is a geode. He showed me a split rock glittering with purple crystals, explaining its formation with meticulous detail. Thorne watched from the doorway, his presence a quiet, protective shadow. Will your return be probable? Theo asked as I prepared to leave. I hope so. We're discussing it. Your son, Ben. He is 4.5 years. I have prepared the wooden block system. It has no small parts. His thoughtful preparedness undid me. That's very kind, Theo. He would love that. Downstairs, Thorne handed me the envelope with the check. This remains yours. For the dance. Separate from the proposal. At the door, he said, he is vulnerable in a world that prefers simplicity. Your clarity with him is a rare commodity. He didn't offer a handshake, just a final, assessing look. 72 hours, Lena. The sedan returned me to my ordinary world. The envelope was a weight in my bag. $5,000 a week was freedom. It was also a tether to a man whose love for his son was real, but whose world was built on shadows. I thought of Theo's serious face, of Ben's laugh, of the impossible choice now burning in my hands. The path ahead forked violently, safe struggle or dangerous sanctuary. I had 3 days to decide which world to choose.